Alex here for BrightDog Academy. If you'd like me to personally answer any questions you may have about your dog, be sure to head over to BrightDog.com where you can learn about my online training program, plus pick up a copy of the official BrightDog Academy ebook. It's been proven time after time that positive reinforcement beats out compliance-based training 100% of the time. That means things like shock collars, like prong collars, and physical corrections. Positive reinforcement will work better every single time. Dog training is not a regulated industry, unfortunately, which means that no trainers are held to any sort of standards when it comes to training. And the biggest problem with that is nobody is forced to follow current research. Now, I will be the first person to admit that 10 years ago, when I first started training, maybe 11 years now, that I was teaching things that now I am making videos that are not true. I used to teach the pack leader mentality, and that people have to be the leader in order for the dogs to follow. But as research came out, we now know that that's not true. And for some reason, and I don't know why, other trainers, not all of them, but many, refuse to accept facts and refuse to update their methods and come out and say that, yeah, you know what? The things that we were doing 30 years ago, we now have a better way to do it. Now, let me give you some proof as far as why am I saying positive reinforcement is better. A study from 2004 showed that dogs trained with more rewards showed higher level of obedience, and that dogs trained with more punishment exhibited more problem behaviors. A study in 2008, Emily Blackwell's study showed that dogs trained using positive reinforcement were less likely to show aggression and fear than dogs trained using punitive methods. Megan Heron's study in the same year showed that all punishment was associated with higher levels of aggression and fear, even what many of us might consider mild aversives like staring at a dog or making a growling noise at him. Here's a study from 2010. It found a correlation between more frequent use of punishment and excitement and aggression. Now, aggression is undesirable, but fear is a problem too. In 2011, there was a study that looked at dogs in their own homes, and it found that positive reinforcement trained dogs were better at learning new skills and more interactive with their owners. Now, those are just some of the recent studies, okay? Some of them. And you can present these studies that have been done to people, to trainers who are using shock collars and all the other fear-based tactics, and they will still, and in fact, I guarantee there's going to be comments that says, no, it's not true. It is insane that people are not willing to change and accept the facts. Now, there will be people that say positive reinforcement training only works for certain things. You can't use it for all sorts of behavior problems. And that's simply not true. Now, I'm not totally against punishment, okay? I think things like using a verbal cue to tell a dog no, you did something wrong, telling the dog no, for example, once we've paired that and they know what it means, things like timeout is okay. But when it comes to physical corrections, that's where the line gets drawn. Things like physically hitting the dog, okay? Things like leash corrections with a prong collar, digging those metal prongs into the dog's neck. Things like shock collars. All of you trainers who are using shock collars and are calling them e-collars, okay? You should be if your method is so okay and using shock collars is so okay, then call them what they are and stand up for what you're preaching. The reason that so many shock collar trainers don't call them that is because it would be terrible marketing. When you go to somebody's website and they say, what do you need to get started? One shock collar, and they talk about that when the dog doesn't do something, we're going to shock them. No dog owner is going to go, oh yeah, this sounds like a good idea, let's do this. That's why they try to mask what it is with things like calling them e-collars and, oh, it just provides a sensation, and what else do they say? They try to mask what it is. It's been proven that shock collars cause much more harm than good, and there's no behavior that you couldn't teach better with positive reinforcement. Shock collar trainers will still try to preach that, oh no, it's perfectly acceptable way to get your dog to listen. Bad enough they won't even stand up for their outdated method, but then to really try to make it okay and to refuse to accept that we have information that proves it's not the best way to train dogs, it's just insane. Now, I use a lot of food with training, especially in the start. Over time, it gets weaned away, but at the start, absolutely, I use a lot of food. And that's one of the biggest, myths about positive training is that you always have to use food. Well, number one, you don't. If you wean it away properly, the dog will start to respond for other rewards. But even if you do, so what? A dog is a domesticated animal, and naturally, he has no reason to listen to you. Why would he? Dogs need motivation to listen to humans. And that motivation can either be because if they listen, something good is going to happen, or if they don't listen, something bad is going to happen. There's this thinking that dogs should just listen just because we're the masters and they have to obey our command. But that's not the case. Think about yourself. Would you go to work for free? Would you spend 40 hours at your job just out of the kindness of your heart? Even if you love your job and love what you do, probably not. You're working that job because you need money. Well, treats and food to dogs is their money. You got to give your dog a reason to listen. And while it will work, although it's not as effective, shocking your dog, physical corrections, instilling fear into your dog will get them to listen, but at the cost of all those terrible things. Or you could get your dog to listen out of love, out of happiness, and out of the thought that something good's going to happen. I'm going to get treats, and eventually you can wean them away to food, to praise, to even his toy, that when I listen, something good is going to happen. For people who are kind of debating what method of training their dog is best, just use some common sense. Do you think that it's better for a dog to listen to you because they love you and they enjoy being around you and something good's going to happen? Or do you think it's better for a dog to listen to you because they're afraid of getting shocked, hit, yelled at, or physically dominated? I think the answer is pretty clear. Thanks for watching, everyone. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you'd like to learn about how you can help to support BrightDog Academy and keep these free videos coming, head over to BrightDog.com right now.